Hey guys, so every once in a while, I want to do a video that kind of gives you a glimpse of how important saving truly is and give you some scenarios where it kind of gets you thinking a little bit different when it comes to not only saving, but spending as well. One of these ways is looking at our expenses. I think this is a very important thing to really look at. And I'm not talking about budgeting necessarily in this video. I'm just talking about the things that we spend. And one of those things that we spend, yes, is our beloved Starbucks. Now, I'm not a real huge Starbucks lover. My wife loves Starbucks, but we do get the K-Cups. They're a little bit more expensive, but if that fixes our need to get Starbucks coffee, it does it in a cheaper way. And I'm not saying that we don't indulge every once in a while, but Starbucks is a big, important thing for Americans, and the amount of money that we pour into Starbucks every year as a culture and as a country has been astonishing. So I want to kind of look over what some opportunities could come about that if we took our money and put it in investments for long term and what that would look like. So did you know that the median household income in the United States was a little bit over $68,000 a year? And the real median income per person was about $36,000 a year. So if you took the average person that works about 35 years in their lifetime, making an average of about $36,000 a year, that person would make about $1.2 million in their lifetime. That's a crazy way to look at it, because I think oftentimes we don't look at it that way. We always see how much we're making per month, per paycheck, per year even, but we don't see what we are earning in a person's lifetime, which I think is something to really consider. So if you look at what you potentially would make in your lifetime, and it's an average of $1.2 million, I think it's a good way to see what are some of the things that you're spending on, because the same way your money compounds and the same way your money adds over time in someone's lifetime, the same way your expenses could do the same thing. You'd be amazed on what are the things that you're buying now that aren't really necessary, that are costing you a lot of money. And when you add the compound interest effect over a lifetime, I'm gonna show you how much that money compounds and how much you could save over time if you eliminated just one thing as your Starbucks. Now don't leave just yet. I'm not necessarily saying that you have to completely cut Starbucks out of your life, but it definitely will give you a different way to look at your expenses. And it doesn't have to be Starbucks, it could be energy drinks, it could be any miscellaneous expenses that you don't realize you're spending. It could be something as small as a subscription that you're no longer using. It could be $6.99 a month or something like that. It's just to get you thinking, you know what I'm saying? So Starbucks this past quarter in 2020 showed revenues of over $6 billion. And that's just the fourth quarter, guys. $6 billion, which was $2 billion more than last year around the same time. So in 2019, it was about $4 billion for fourth quarter versus 2020 at $6 billion. That's amazing. In a year where we're going through an economic and health crisis, people are still running to coffee to either comfort them or to give them energy or what have you. Not many places are open, so coffee is an essential part of people's lives now. And so it's something to really think about when it comes to your expenditures. And it also tells you how we are putting our money and how coffee in general and Starbucks is becoming a real essential item in our society. So with all that said, let's take a look. So if an average coffee purchase at Starbucks is about $5, and an individual that is just addicted to Starbucks coffee is paying $5 a day, and again, it could be anything else, it could be energy drinks, etc., but right now we're focusing on Starbucks, so at $5 a day. So I'm gonna get out my calculator real quick and plug in here, 365 days a year, times 5, that's 1825. That's 1,825 divided by 12, and that's in a year's time. You're gonna be spending an average of $152 a month. $152 a month on Starbucks someone can potentially make, which makes sense out of that $6 billion in the fourth quarter. It's only fourth quarter, which is in 3 months' time. people are spending $6 billion on Starbucks. So you've got $152 a month that you could free up if you don't buy Starbucks at the Starbucks and instead brewed your own coffee at home for pennies on the dollar. So $152. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get an investment calculator here. And the investment calculator I have here. And so I'm gonna plug in at 18 years old. At 18 years old, and I'm gonna enter the age that you plan to retire, which is 67. If you were born in 1960 or later, 67 years old is the age at which you can retire with full benefits. That's Social Security at full paid out. That's essentially what that means. How much have you saved for retirement? We're gonna say zero. You're 18 years old, you have zero saved, but you're spending a lot, especially on Starbucks. So let's say you stop drinking Starbucks, it's $5 a day, you're just spending $5 every day wastefully, if you will. So I'm gonna take that dollar sign out. So how much would you contribute monthly? Let's do the 152. The 152, every single month from the age of 18 to 67, what do you think your annual return will be? Well, we're gonna use the 12% because historically, if you invested in the S&P 500, it has been roughly 12% returns, and that's the average for the past 30 years. So we're gonna go ahead and use a 12% for now. Check this out, guys. Check this out. By not drinking Starbucks and saving, essentially putting that money towards a retirement account, whether it's a Roth IRA or your 401k for a long period of time, or even a brokerage account even, for a long period of time, from 18 to the age of 67, voila, $5.2 million, $5,266,949 to be exact. That's $5 million. Isn't that crazy? $5 million that you are not participating in, not making, because we're frivolously spending stuff on money. And that's just one example I like to give of some of the ways that you're able to manage your money. Again, the average person making about $36,000 a year could accumulate or will make in their lifetime potentially $1.2 million. So how are you managing your money? What are you putting your money towards? You know, if you could put $150 a month out of that $36,000 a year salary by not spending on certain things. Now, granted, you know, someone that's making $36,000 is probably not spending $150 worth of Starbucks. But let's say you're making $50, $60, $70, $80,000. I know people that are making over $100,000 a year, spending a ridiculous amount of money on things that don't really matter, aren't necessary, just because it's either a comfort thing or just because they feel like it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right thing to do, especially when we live in a country, in a society where the savings rate is really low and the retirement, how much we save for retirement is really low. So it's just something to think about. Don't get upset with me. I'm not trying to attack your Starbucks. It could be anything, but in this example, I was just looking at Starbucks because it really blew my mind on the figures and the numbers. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you took something away. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. My goal is to get to 200 subscribers in the next 2 months. Oh, I'm sorry, 100 subscribers. 200 would even be better, but 100 subscribers in the next 2 months. That's my goal. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Please like this video. Apparently it helps the algorithm in some way to get it shared more or viewed more. I'm not sure how it works, but I really would appreciate that. Until the next video, I appreciate your support. See you next time.